Oh, hey guys, what's up? Sorry, I was just hanging out, like I normally do. What's up?
Listening.
What did you do again? What?
Be- Best general.
How's that? How's that an accident though? Why is there an oops in there?
Dude, yeah,
I didn't mean to. I
I
didn't think it was gonna happen. I predicted. That's not what I predicted.
predicted it.
Well, welcome everybody. We've got Whoopie Womp and Naren Zade. We're going to talk a little bit about Naren's adventure to the Slavania GT. But before we get into that, please check out Dylan's site or his channel, Whoopie Womp, and of course Naren's, because obviously if he's won 2 GTs at this point, you should be listening and watching whatever stuff he is going to be producing. Tons of glorious content. And then Dylan has been doing some good stuff with the, what is it, Painters, Motivating Painters page or something. So all the links below are going to be there. So that's a cool thing that you can check out if you're working on models, progress. He's got a whole system there. There's a video that he's got out there somewhere on it. So check out those things because these guys have obviously been doing a better job than I have of putting out content, so they deserve it. But another thing that we'll talk about is the Slavania GT in general. We'll get an idea from Naren if it's something we should be putting on the radar, since it was kind of a GT that some people weren't sure about, but we'll get to that. So let's hear it. How did it go? What was the deal?
As far as the games go, or as the GT itself went?
Yeah, just anything. I mean, tell us about how you won and whatnot. Of course, you're not doing battle reports, right?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
So if you don't want spoilers, I mean.
Right. Yeah. I guess if other viewers don't want spoilers, then
right.
you can leave now.
You should not have started this video.
No, that's fine. So, game 1, I played the Sustainable Center because I challenged him to a grudge match. Before the game starts, I stole his Book of Grudges, and I put one of my gutter runners on his display board. He didn't notice it for like 10 minutes. It was great. And then he's like, where's my book? I have this fucking Rat Man on my display board. And I'm like, bro, you got to watch it, or we're going to steal your book, we're going to steal your wins. So we had a really good game. Oh, you wanted to say something? Womp.
I think you cursed him. Did you just like cast black magic on him or something? Because he ended up playing like what, 4 different Skaven armies that night or something.
He played 3 Skaven armies, yeah.
Total black magic, man.
I think there were more Skaven armies at the Slavania GT than there were Skaven at every other GT I've ever gone to, like combined.
Do they all have the same list? Like, do you feel justified against Skaven AZ?
All the lists are fairly similar. I mean, some people brought 2 Doom Wheels instead of a Hell Pit. But yeah, I mean, the lists were largely similar, I believe. I don't know for sure. But I think I was the only guy, though, with a Bone Breaker. So.
Oh, I love the Bone Breaker.
Oh, Anthony said he was trash, and then he trashed Anthony. So he's like, what does it even do? You're not going to look out, sir. I'm like, are you going to shoot a cannon at it? He's like, no. I'm like, all right. I'm like, it doesn't.
Saying that, that's what his counter to that one's going to be. I'm just going to kill it with the cannon.
That's the point I made to a couple people. That the screaming bell's a different story, but my counter argument is always, if you're shooting at the Bone Breaker, then that means I've already lost my Hell Pits and my Lightning Cannons and everything else, which means at that point I might as well lose the game. Right. But if you're shooting for him first, I mean, was he your general?
No.
Gracier was?
Yep.
Okay.
He's just a big dude on a Bone Breaker.
But was he Fellblade or was he kitted out somewhere else?
No, Talisman of Preservation, Potion of Strength, Sword of Anti-Heroes, and Charm Shield.
Sword of Anti-Heroes, nice.
That's clever. That's clever.
I just needed what I needed was I needed a guy who could add, 4 attacks from the guy on top and then 5 attacks from the Bone Breaker, just to give me the extra combat res for the Storm Vermin. And if I got Death Frenzy off, make it 6 attacks and 7 attacks, and then you got 2 characters or whatever, he becomes kind of a monster, and then if a monster hits it, I pop Potion of Strength, and 4 Strength, 7 attacks on your monster.
Death Frenzy on the Bone Breaker is awesome.
Yeah.
It's so many attacks.
Yeah, especially with the Sword of Anti-Heroes.
Like I said, it was pretty solid, I thought. But Some people think Fellblade's better. I don't. I don't like the idea of not having anything on my guy, but whatever. Um, Stormbanner lasted for 3 turns against Anthony, so that was huge. Um, I my gutter runners hit 2 war machines and couldn't kill 3 guys. He ripped like 3 6-up armor saves on the first one, and I was like, oh boy. Um, I scorched. See, the thing is, like, if it was like a regular game of Warhammer, I would have lost the game. But because units at or under 50% were worth half their victory points, I just made it my job to like scorch his units and get them below half.
Well, what's the definition of a regular Warhammer game these days?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
well, like that's the thing. Well, that's kind of the thing too. I like it because like it makes you play differently. You know what I mean? Like you can't go into a GT and be like, well, I only play this way, and you know I'm gonna do this, and it's like, well, you can't because that's not how this GT works. Like you won't get the points and all that if you're playing, your way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
how? I mean, I know we're kind of going all over the place, but how was the GT? I mean, unfortunately, I didn't get to go. I'm lame and didn't juggle enough things that weekend. But obviously, was it something to keep an eye out for next year? Like,
all right.
Or is it comparable to some of the other ones?
Not really. I really like Mike, and he was a cool guy. And I really liked. They had like these little like pieces of wood, I think, or something like that, on the side of each board, where you could like keep all your dice and books and stuff like that, so like they weren't all over the table. I really like that. I would have liked to have seen more terrain on some of the tables, because like game 2, there was a forest in each corner and then one hill in the middle, and like that was it. The buildings, you couldn't go into any of the buildings, so I didn't feel like there was a lot of stuff that like affected the game. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I didn't feel like there was like, just like enough interesting. Like I don't think there was a fence on any of the boards I was on, like any obstacle to like block cannonballs or anything like that.
So I feel like much standard, like front of each other and head to head.
Yeah. Each day ran about an hour late, so that kind of sucked.
Oh, that's terrible.
And the venue was really, really poor. Like it was like an empty garage, like an empty big garage for like trucks. So like, and like it was it was not in like an area where there was like stuff to do. So like you had to drive you had to get in your car and like drive to like grab lunch. And lunch is an hour, but like GT was like running late, so like I didn't know. Like I'm like, oh god, I have 20 minutes to get lunch. Like, and I didn't hear because like they didn't have a sound system either. So like I didn't there wasn't an announcement like, hey, we're gonna extend lunch to like 1. So yeah, I mean I'm probably going to go again because I really like Mike and I want to give him a second chance, and I'm going to email him and give him this constructive information about his GT, because I would like to. It's only 4 hours away. Like I'll go, and I like seeing new players and playing against new guys.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, my understanding is that's only like the second Slavania, right?
This is the first time I ever heard of it. So
yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, it's closer to me than Crossroads and Brawlers is, so I should have done better planning and went, but it's cool because it was a nice crew of guys that went, at least from the YouTube community, where you had Eric and all the guys from Nerdhammer. How many guys did you travel with?
We had 5.
Okay, that's awesome. I know Anthony's guys fell apart, but he was there. Anyone else? Oh, Warriors Vault.
Yep.
That's his home store, right?
Yes, I believe so. So yeah, no, I mean, like it was, like the guys were cool, and like there were some good players there, like Alex Schmidt, who won best general at best overall at Crossroads, and Mike Rossi and some of those guys. So there were definitely some good players there, and we had a decent turnout. I think it was like 42 guys or something like that. Like I said, there were just some minor things, like improved terrain, like a sound system or something, a different venue preferably. Like having it at a hotel is huge, because then you can all hang out and like get your drink on and like then just go pass out. But like you really couldn't do that here because like you're in a fucking garage and you're like, oh, we have to drive back to the hotel, and then get wasted where all of our I mean, where all of our Warhammer shit is. Like there just wasn't a lot around.
Right.
So
All right.
Oh, but the trophies fucking kicked ass. Look at this thing.
What dragon is that?
That's the Dark Elf dragon.
Dude, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, for all the downsides, here's the plus sides. The sweet sideboards, these trophies, like the best overall trophy, which I wanted so bad, by the way, was it was the biggest tower I've ever seen. It was like this big, and it had Nagash on the top. I'm like, that's like a $200 trophy. Like I wanted to hold it over my head like the Stanley Cup and like bring it to all the Hammer Bros houses. Like, yeah. So I was very sad that we didn't get that, but the thing is, those are the trophy. It's pretty sweet. So that was a huge positive. And like I said, Mike was a really cool guy, and I hope that probably going to try and make it out to Voorhees to the outside the box game so I can play there and just mess around with Anthony and those guys.
What event is it?
Just one of their monthly tournaments or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because I'm crazy. Like maybe we can all meet up at Anthony's house and I don't know, throw up all over his floor or something.
Did you get him to drink the Baileys?
He drank the Baileys.
You drank the Baileys?
And then I left my bottle there.
Oh.
A solution.
So
a solution for the terrain thing. What do you think about players bringing their own terrain for either bonus points or just to add, especially if they don't have terrain like Corey Reynolds for frickin' Crossroads? He's got enough to do a good, tournament.
Yeah.
Where Brawlers, it was a little. I felt it was more scarce, or they were just the forest was just dark green felt, like it wasn't there. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like that'd be something cool where you have to bring your own piece and it's bonus points, and then it might match your army to terrain somewhere on the table.
I don't know. I don't think I'm big on that.
No?
I don't think so.
You'd rather...
I mean, it'd be cool if someone brought their own terrain, but bonus points is that's serious business now.
We talked about this before.
Yeah.
Once been,
what was that, Dylan?
I think we talked about this before with Once Been, just if that would affect the game at all, if people were allowed or if give an incentive to bring their own terrain pieces.
Right. Even if it's one battle point or one tournament point or whatever it is, just to get painted terrain on the table for a GT that doesn't have it yet, at least.
Right. I'd say give them 1 or 2 points on their painting score. That would be fine.
Okay. Oh, yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that would be reasonable. But like I said, Mike was a good guy. Seemed to be okay. So I hope I'll probably go again next year, and I hope we see some improvements, and it totally kicks ass.
Now, this was the first GT, except the one. What did Nick F go to? Do you know, Dylan?
He went to one, and I can't remember the name, but it's the GT in Wisconsin,
okay.
And he won Best High Elf General.
That's cool.
I can't remember the name of it. I wish I could, though.
It's on G+. But anyway, this is these were the first 2 GTs, I feel like, since the whole FAQ. Was there any talk about what comp systems or what fixes or if it's going to be allowed in the future? Was there any chat that weekend about it?
Yeah. I think you're going to see it just disallowed. It'll just be completely comped out. Because it's really hard. It's really hard to well, you can't bring Nagash. Okay, but this guy can bring 12 Scarvets and 6 Old Bloods.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Well then, what? You can't bring 60 engineers. Well, why not? That's the thing. Where do you draw the line? So you get these weird matchups where people are I'm just gonna bring 3 Demon Princes and all that. So I think it's gonna get comped out, or it'll be something where you can only bring 1 Lord choice and maybe 2 hero choices, and then that way you can just put them on big cool models, and you can bring your big cool models as opposed to just hero spam.
I don't know, Naren. That sounds kind of like 7th.
I like it.
Couldn't say never played 7th.
Yeah, that was the rules in 7th. I liked it. it was based on, it was just straight up like you get so many heroes and so many lords based on how many points you had. So it made it a lot more streamlined, but easier to use, I think.
I see. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I think you're gonna see it just comped completely out, because otherwise, at least until all the End Times books are released, because like if all the books come out and everyone gets something, then at that point you can be like, okay, well now we're all on the same playing field. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. For the Midwest, I've been hearing a lot just about it not being comped out here, which is kind of upsetting. It's just, but I can't imagine it going on long because, like you said, it just gets to the point where it gets convoluted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to play, 18 Cold One guys and 90s
No,
games.
it's stupid. I played a game with it. It's dumb. We both decided it was stupid.
It was like the last straw for me. I kind of had a little pissy fit on Nick's page about it. It's just like, come on. I mean, what's the point of even having fucking units? Like,
Well, it gets really bad when you're like, well, what did you bring? Well, I brought a Vampire Lord level 4 to death, 12 Banshees, 100 or 98 Skeleton Archers, and 2 Terrorgeists.
yeah, exactly.
Come at me, bro.
Or two vampires, one with a leadership Nolan banner, the other one you have to take a leadership with 3 dice. And I'm just gonna scream the shit out of everything.
So, yep. So I think it'll get counted out.
All right, good. All right, so at least your track record right now, as far as I know, you won the Crossroads with the Brony Army, and you got a lot of, as we all know, a little bit of hate, not because you won with Bretonia, but just because of your army. And now you've won a GT, or a Best General, with a legit army. It's still Skaven, which some people say, well, it's cheese, blah, blah, blah. But are you feeling the love now, or are people getting back on the Naren Zade train, or what?
I don't know. I couldn't say. I got a lot of subscribers in the past like 2 days.
Okay.
So that might be okay.
I was advertising the hell out of it. I don't know. I was excited about it. I'm like, fucking Hammer, bro. I'm like your Ed McMahon. I gotta boost this shit.
I appreciate it. No, it's I don't know. It doesn't really bother me. I don't care. If people don't like me or something because I brought the Pony Army, it's whatever.
Dude,
I think though that when you play me, I'm too goddamn adorable to play against to hate me. So yeah, I never get it in person. I've never had a person give me shit in person. Everyone I talk to is like, yeah, it wasn't for me. And then we play our game and they're like, man, you're a fun guy to play with. And I'm like, you too, bro. And then like we high five and like we drink. So yeah,
that sounds like a beautiful moment.
I don't know. I hope that everyone likes me though. I guess like I don't want people to hate me.
I mean, I'm just hoping they don't hate you more now.
Yeah, honestly, after the Britney Spears, maybe a little bit. Maybe they'll use it a little bit against you, like that fucker. He wins and plays Britney Spears.
Whatever.
Fucking brony. I like the cup, the victory chalice.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't. It doesn't bother me, but we'll see. Hopefully everyone likes me, and I'm gonna go to the Du Bois in 3 days or 3 days. Whoa, 3 weeks. With the Skaven again. Yeah. So hopefully, back to back.
Same list, or you?
100 points less, but it was. I originally made the Du Bois list, and then signed up for Slavania and bumped it to 25.
Is it ETC?
No.
Oh, it's just 24?
Yep. They're allowing 50% Lords and Heroes, though, for Undead Legion only.
Oh. Interesting.
That's kind of BS.
So do we expect players to bring Nagash?
He's banned. No, I expect like double Vampire Lords and then like double Vampire Heroes.
You're gonna get a lot of shit. That's kind of sucks. What's the point of like letting them use 50% Lords and Heroes if they're just banning Nagash? Like that's fucking just stupid. It's like you're allowing them. It's like you can't use the only reason they made this rule, but now you can abuse it. No one else can.
I am looking forward to going because the venue's awesome, and I'm gonna drink a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and like, see, here's the other thing too. I'm always at like my least stress level when you're like, well, you're gonna go to the boys. How do you feel? I don't know. You know what? I really can't. I really can't talk about how I feel like I'm gonna do because like at this point I'm like, eh. I'm like I feel okay with it now. Like I don't need to. I don't need to vindicate myself with Skaven. I already were there. Actually, that brings me to something that Anthony said, and it was probably my favorite thing. I'm a big Gotcha and Felix fan. And he's like, Naren's like the YouTube Slayer. He's like, he brings Bretonnia to his first. The first time he brings Bretonnia to a GT, he wins Best General. I've been trying for 10 years to do it. Then Skaven AZ's been trying for like 10 years, and the first one that this motherfucker brings Skaven to, he wins Best General. I'm like,
if you bring dwarves, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna find you.
Give me a dwarf army.
I will slay you.
So, what do you think it all comes down to? Are you using elite strategy? Do you know the rules in and out? Do you roll well? What is it?
I don't know anything about the rules. I'm terrible at the rules. It's every game I play. Every game I play, I ask like 5 or 6 questions. Like I learned at this GT. Anthony, I charged his War Machine, and then he charged my Skaven, and I didn't know I disengaged from the War Machine.
Really?
That blew my fucking mind. I'm like, dude, are you serious? He's like, yeah. I'm like, what? I'm like, so I can't attack the War Machine anymore? He's like, no. And I'm like, oh, learned something new today. Playing Alex Schmidt, the guy who won Best Overall Crossroads, ran my unit down. I'm like, hell yeah. Now, well, he didn't run them down. I fled. He caught me. I'm like, now he's out of position. He reforms. I'm like, you can't reform. He's like, what do you mean? Yeah, I can. He's like, it's right in the rules. And I'm like, oh my god. Really? For 2.5 years, I've been running people down and then not reforming.
When they break from combat and you chase them down, you can reform after catching them?
No, not from breaking from combat. Like if you charge and I flee and you catch me, you can reform if you catch me.
Seriously?
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that.
See? There you go. I don't fucking know. That's what he told me. And he's best overall guy. Like I don't know shit. I'm the first one to be like I don't know a rule. Like, because like there's just so many, and like it's like well, do you get to reform if you break from combat? No, you can only get to reform on the charge. Like you're sometimes half in the bag. Like you don't know.
I hate this game.
No, I love it. It's just fun to dick around.
So all right, so you don't feel like you know the rules in and out, which I don't either, and that's one thing when you put shit up on YouTube and you get the rules wrong, people hate you. But I don't care as much as I used to. But so is it dice rolling? Is it your list?
I think it's a combination of those things, and I think I know most of the armies well enough that I know what I'm playing against, and I know what I need to do. And I think one of the biggest problems is not people like this is like a very general elitist whatever statement, like, but I don't mean it that way. But like when you go into a game, the number one thing you cannot do is change your focus from something to another something. Like whatever your plan is, you need to pretty much execute that plan. Because like you can't be like, okay, well, what am I going to do with this unit? Well, I'm going to go chase this unit. Oh, well, then I didn't catch that unit. Now I need to turn it around and get back into the middle because that's where and then it's turn 6 and the game's over. You know what I mean?
I do feel like we were talking about this earlier about how you play with a lot of people around your town, so it's not like you're in the big tournament field. So you're bringing stuff to the table like the Bone Breaker that people aren't normally playing for or looking for, so then when they see that kind of stuff, they have to react opposed to just following their plan. Do you think that helps you out too?
Yes, I would say so. I mean, because like Anthony, he looked at the Bone Breaker and he's like, whatever. And then
I agree.
The Bone Breaker smashed like 4 or 5 dwarfs a turn.
Anytime someone asks you what's the stats on that thing, you already have the upper hand because knowledge is power, and if they don't know what something's capable of.
Yeah.
And Anthony's right, the Bone Breaker can get shot or doesn't get a lookout, sir, stupid shit. But like I've always had good success with that guy.
Dude, I've never seen you do bad with him. And like, Aaron's a good example, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The only time he died was in close combat. He never got like shot out or death magic or anything stupid. So, um, I, I mean, I have decent dice rolls. I mean, I had some bad ones at this one. Like I blew up my own warp lightning cannon by shooting it. I misfired my doom wheel multiple times, like many. Funny story, did not miscast once the entire tournament.
No.
I did not get anything off with the irresistible force the entire game, the entire GT.
And did you have the Scalm on your Gracier?
I had Scalm and Power Scroll.
So did you use the Scalm ever?
I used Scalm once.
Okay.
What does that do?
Heals all the wounds off of the Gracier.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So I think it's a combination of I know what a lot of the armies do, and I'm pretty good at coming up with a plan to maximize my effectiveness and minimize their effectiveness, I guess. I mean, if I knew the rules better, I would be a much better player. And I still, the gentleman who beat me, Roger Yan, who took best overall, he said that the biggest thing he had said for me was to learn the movement phase a little bit better, and I totally agree with him. I can't dispute that at all. Especially with like Skaven, like positioning. Like, see, people say that like Skaven are a low skill army, but they're not. If you play them with all these blocks of with the 2 blocks of slaves and like the multiple rat darts and like the random movement and like the scouts, like I pinched my help hit in one time with the scouts, and you just have to always be aware of everything that's going on. Game 4 to GT, you're getting to the point where you're a little worn out. So you can make this place.
I mean, like, moving something closer to your Doom Wheel than your opponent. You ever make that mistake?
Yep. Oh yeah. Certainly.
Yeah. I always go to measure it, and you always go to zap something, like, I'm going to zap all your ogres, and then you realize you have, like, slaves that are, like, an inch closer, and you're like, damn it.
Well, no, I did it a couple times this time, but it's only because I was like, oh, they're tied. They're both 7 inches away. Oh, man, I blasted that demigriff. Cool. Well, now the demigriffs are, like, 7. They're, like, 9 inches away. All right, well, now I blast 2, rats. So.
Right.
Yeah, so I would say...
You got to do the Doom Wheels first. I learned that too, where my opponent took casualties away from the closest point to the Doom Wheel. So that's why I always try to do them first.
That makes sense. Yep. So I'd say it's a combination of things. I mean, I would hope, and I could be wrong, but I think I'm a pretty decent player. I hope it's not all luck. I think another big thing is that people sometimes, like my buddy, he's like, Chris, you got really lucky, and I'm like, why do you say that? He's like, well, you had your slaves kill 2 knights. I'm like, right, but like I was throwing 10 attacks every round. He's like, but they have a 1-up armor save, and I'm like, it's a 1 out of 6 chance though.
Right.
So like in 3 full rounds of combat, like I'm throwing 60 attacks at him. I'm hitting with 30, I'm wounding with 15. He's failing 2 armor saves.
Yeah,
good point.
That's honestly got to be something you gotta get immune to. Otherwise, a lot of new players, when I played against them, they would get like really pissed off when they're like expensive models that they spent so much money on die or shit like that. It's like, dude, you have to go on like expecting your models to die. I mean, don't expect them to lose, but just don't expect them to always do what you want them to do, because it's a game of chance a lot of the time.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it is a game of dice in the end, so there's definitely luck involved.
So we'll take a pause here for a moment. There's a bunch of people watching live, over 10, so if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. We'll address them. Dark CT, good work, Naren, my Skaven brethren. Make sure you keep that trophy safe. Demonic Orchard. Demonic Orchard, you should have had more faith in me. And then Nick Fensky, thanks, however you pronounce it. Congratulations, by the way, dude. Question for Naren. Did you decide to play Skaven after seeing the scoring for Slavania? Seems like the perfect army for that. All those templates and nasty spells. Seems you could easily score a ton of points without having to engage.
That is a really excellent question, and yes, I was Well, yes and no. I was playing Skaven, like I was like, I'm going in playing Skaven, because I had spent all this time painting all of these slaves. But then I did see that comp, and I mean, yeah, you think you're like money. You're like, even if I roll Dreaded 13th and I don't get the whole unit, I'm taking half of it out. I'm getting 50% points for that, like no matter what. And like, I'm on turn 5 with Anthony, and he's 2 models above 50%. I'm like, scorch that unit. I just netted myself, 200 points. Scorch that unit, another like 200. Like, so yeah, I mean, it definitely cemented my decision and made me much more confident in my ability to get some points. And Demonic Orchard, here's your pony. Here's your pony I promised you. You email me your address, and this is in the mail that day.
How did Dio do? I haven't checked that out yet.
I don't know how he did overall, but I know he beat Skaven and AZ. So.
oh, that's awesome.
He
just like all that shit talking and stuff. It's sorry.
I said he was gonna get tabled, and he beat him. I think 20 to 8. I mean, Demonic Orchard clearly knows what he's doing. I mean, to play because his list was very soft in my opinion. I mean, anytime you're playing 2 Soul Grinders to Slanesh, yeah. So, very impressive. Very impressive. I certainly owe him a pony and a drink if he ever makes it up here into this area.
Do you think Skaven's going to follow through with the bet?
He is going to, as far as I know. I spoke to him. We texted all weekend. I even purchased his shirt already. So it's in the mail. I have to make a couple alterations to it before I send it over. But yeah, he'll be getting it in the next probably 2 weeks or so.
That's a classy move.
Oh, yeah, he's a gentleman.
Can you enlighten us on the bet some more?
So, Skaven and Izzy was talking some good shit, and he's like, listen, your list is just a copycat list of mine. And I'm like, that's completely incorrect. He's like, well, your rare section's the same. And I'm like, every Skaven player's rare section's the same. I'm like, well, listen, I'm supremely confident in my ability to play this army. So why don't we have a bet? And he's like, sure, what do you want? I'm like, listen, if I win, or if I place higher than you do at our respective GTs this weekend, you will have to wear a My Little Pony shirt for at least 3 full viewings on your channel or a channel of the other's choosing for at least 3 broadcasts. And he agreed. And if he placed higher than me, I would wear a Red Sox jersey or uniform as a New Yorker for 3 videos. So, yeah, pretty exciting.
How did he place? Well, obviously, he can't beat you if you came in first, but how did he do it his?
I'm not certain. I don't want to spoil anything because on his channel and all that. And he told me to pick out a shirt though, so I'm assuming not.
And did you get in third, or what was the placement?
I'm sorry?
Did you get in third place, or what was the placement?
I'm not sure. There were no postings on any of the rankings. I don't even know my paint score right now. So hopefully they're going to post them up on the website. So I really couldn't say.
Okay. I think I may have heard Anthony say something, but I don't know.
So, well, the way they did the awards and stuff was like the best overall couldn't take best general, or like the second best overall couldn't take best general because it was like one award per person, and I'm a shitty painter, so because I had the most battle points and the shittiest painted army, that landed me best general. So.
Right up.
I try to paint. I mean, I try to paint. Like I'm like I need to. I'm just not good at it. I mean, well, like I'm not bad. I've gotten so much better. But yeah, I'm still working on it. But I'm very satisfied, and that's why I really want to see my paint score because I want to see if I got any better. So
it's really, and with armies like Skaven and Undead, it's really hard to motivate yourself to paint through all those troops. Wow.
It's called drugs. That's how I got through it.
Well said, sir.
Just
how come I didn't finish my whole army in the half a year of that? What the fuck?
Lots and lots of drinking.
I noticed when we stopped Warhammer Weekly, when I came back, I just had this huge homeless man beard going on, It's just like, what the fuck have we been doing?
So what did you win, Naren? What were your spoils?
A Stonehorn, Thunder Tusk.
What are you gonna do with that?
Well, funny story that you should ask. I'm actually doing a little contest on my channel here in the next coming weeks. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do something called the Tournament of Lords, which is like which is gonna be like the NCAA championship. I'm gonna fill out a bracket on a website, taking 2 lord choices from each army book, and kitting them out as best I can. And then I'm going to have them battle to the death. And if anyone gets a perfect bracket, I'll give away either the Celestial Hurricane I won at Crossroads or the Thunder Tusk I won at Slavania. To if anyone has a perfect bracket.
I want in.
Oh, you can have in. So
let's discuss this. How is this going to work?
So like I said, I'm going to draw random lots. So like you could have the Prophetess of the Lady fighting the Keeper of Secrets, which would be an unfortunate day for the lady.
And you'd be crazy to put her continuing through the bracket, right?
Right. So and then whoever moves on goes further in the bracket, and they'll fight whoever wins theirs, and so on and so forth until we have one reigning champion of Lords. My buddy and I will do it. We'll do it here locally. We'll probably post 1 or 2 games every week, maybe 3, and it'll probably be on like a 4x4 area. We'll record each game so people can see.
So it's just gonna be the 2 lords running around the battlefield.
Yeah. So the Prophetess of the Lady could, in theory, outmaneuver the Keeper and maybe dwellers him, rolls of 6. It could happen. But they'll all be 2 out of 3. Because
That happens. That'd be hilarious.
Yes, you need to use this on a legitimate website so I can gamble on this.
Yeah. Oh no. I'll post it up and the thing is that to enter you need to subscribe, and share the video. So.
Love it.
We'll be giving away prizes and stuff, and I'll probably give away something anyway to the person who does the best. So, if no one has a perfect bracket, if someone has a perfect bracket, then they're my tournament champion. And then if one person does get it, then I can do a Tournament of Lords too, and still have another prize left over. So.
When are you starting this? You should do this tomorrow.
I've made up most of the lords. I don't know. Sometime soon. Probably after this week. Because I'm gonna do all my battle reports, and yeah, I'll be good.
Yeah. What incentive do you get for betting on the higher or the lower rated lords?
There would be no incentive. You want to have the perfect bracket, but theoretically, a lesser lord could win.
Yeah.
And then there will be some tough matchups. You'll be like, oh well, it's the Bretonnian lord versus the Greater Unclean One. Ooh. The Greater Unclean One's probably gonna win, but 6s happen.
Wow.
Spoiler alert: the Bretonnian lord has heroic killing blow. By the way.
Yeah, and I figured that.
Yeah, that's natural.
Yeah. So.
I want to have a nice overlay made up for this.
All right.
This way, that will be my contribution. This way, we can get that looking good for your channel.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Here's the thing: I need to know a bracket of 16?
34 or 32? Because it's 2 lord choices from each book.
30. So it's 32 then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So get me an idea of a couple of the cool ones, and I'll made up. It'll look like an ESPN kind of thing.
Yeah. Is it gonna be first come first serve then, or?
No. Everyone
submit as many brackets as possible, right? There's no likelihood that there'll be a. It's random.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone will submit. Everyone would submit one bracket, and whoever. If we have 3 people who get perfect brackets, I'll hand out 3 prizes or 5 or whatever. So.
Huh.
Yep. It'll be awesome.
We should create a. This is gonna sound stupid, but we should create Fantasy Warhammer Fantasy, and then you just have a bunch of different characters, and you play games, and we'll actually create a team, and Like instead of quarterbacks and shit, if the caster gets 2 irresistible forces, he gets a point, and then
Dude, I need some dwellers. I need a dweller. Damn it.
that would make the live games more interesting. Like when Anthony or like Skaven and AZ have like their 2 or 3 hour broadcasts and sit there and watch. Be like, where's that second irresistible force? Or I need to win this challenge. My character's gonna get extra points if he wins this challenge.
Dude, we should just start betting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, give him like 2 to 3 odds.
That would be fun. Like if I just post a video of like, all right, my next game is against Ryan. Here's my list. Here's his list. Who's gonna win? And we could just start gambling.
I think this is illegal, bro. You're gonna get your channel shut down.
Oh no. It's fantasy booking.
Yeah.
It's fantasy booking.
Yeah.
It's monopoly money.
We're gonna bet in gold, and of course we're gonna make it sound like we're
Okay, I bet 3 gold on that.
Yeah.
I'm doing 3 gold on it.
Did we get any new comments? Do the people love me?
Any more comments?
If you love me and you don't hate me for the pony thing, give us like +1 or something. Because I'm really curious now that Nick made me think of that. That he's got me all anxious about my popularity.
Your popularity. How many meow meow points you have?
Yeah, dude. It's important to know these things.
No more comments except Turbo Tomato said, "Yo Orchard, did you beat Skaven in AZ?" So.
Cool.
Yeah, when you ask questions, you gotta ask it to us, man.
Hey, before you guys learned what Skaven and AZ meant, did you guys pronounce it like funky, or like not know what the hell it meant at first?
No.
Before I actually listened to him say it, I was like, Skaven and Oz? I was like, what?
Dude, to be honest, I think you were the first person I heard pronounce it, so...
Well, dude, until I started doing Hangouts with you, I never actually tried to pronounce your name. I was just like, oh, it's the guy with the funky whoopie name. And then I realized it was Whoopie Womp.
It was funny, like, in the beginning, just hearing people, like, try to say the name or, like, not wanting to pronounce it because they didn't know if it was dirty or not. They're just like, is this dirty? Whoopie Womp, what is this? It's just words, man.
Well, we have gotten no more comments yet, so if you have questions or comments, leave them below. We'll answer them. We'll wrap it up soon, but what other topics, whatever things you guys want to talk about before we do so?
Should I go through the rest of my games?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we skipped that. Go for it.
It's cool. So, you know the whole thing we did this thing for? Fuck it.
Fucking brackets, man.
So, yeah, no, the brackets are serious business. Anyway, so game 2, I played a Lizard Man player. He was playing Teto Echo and like some stags and typical stuff like that. I moved all my shit up and I doom rocketed the hell out of some Saurus. Then I gave him some Scorch. My doom wheel misfired and ran me directly into an ancient stag. Popped him, then popped me into the engine of the gods. Yeah, so that was pretty big. Game 3, I got to play Mike Rossi, who has always done well at GTs and is hilarious and an excellent guy to play against. And I was so excited to play against him. I had some terrain features that favored me, and he was playing double stank, 2 units of demis, and a bunch of knights. And not being able to break Skaven with those guys is pretty rough. Some highlights are I hit his stank on turn 1 with my doom wheel and dealt it 9 wounds and killed it at the top of turn 5. Yeah, so that was great.
A doom wheel is the best way to take out a tank. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, except I could not roll higher than 2 or 4.
Oh.
So like it lasted 5 turns.
Yeah, I put something on the side for you, Naren.
Cool.
If you want to look at that while you're talking.
Should I click this now?
I didn't want. Why is there porn?
So well said. So game 4, I played Alex Schmid, who was the best overall, and I was really excited to play that game because I really like playing against good players who know what they're doing, because then I get to learn things, like that whole fleeing, running down, reforming thing. Um, Long story short, I gave him some plague and killed a whole bunch of guys in his bunker, and then I gave him some doom rocket and killed a whole bunch of guys in his bunker. Um, and then I 13th his bunker, and there were like 3 skeletons and his general and his other level 4 in there. My hell pit came back to life, so that was awesome. And he was spanking me good, and it was looking like the end, but I had a 3 dice phase, ate both my warpstone tokens, and got 13th off, and wiped his 2 casters. And I don't know if you know this about the comp at Slavania, but this was really rough for Skaven. If a character can make a lookout, sir, they only take 1 wound from any spell that would remove them otherwise.
Oh wow.
So I had to get the unit down to like 3 dudes before I could 13th and like win the game. So I 13th them, the characters went off and the crumbling and the big win. And then I played Roger Jan, who's playing all Warriors of Chaos. He's a good player. Like he certainly beat all that, but I beat myself very badly that game. He was playing Zinch Magic and had a Hell Cannon, and I was just because before I played this list, I'm like Skaven and AZ is like, why would you play slaves? Because you're either gonna pop or whatever. And I'm like, I'm actually more afraid of Zinch Magic. Because, Treason is Zinch, you have to use the lowest leadership. You can't reroll. Hit you with the Hell Cannon. -1, you flee. On leadership 4, no reroll.
I'm surprised I don't see more of that kind of stuff. I feel like there's a lot of leadership shenanigans are more than people actually use with that.
Yeah.
Well, if it takes your magic phase and you commit to those spells, and then you're also going to a 5-game GT where it might not even work against certain armies, it's more of a gamble, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I just feel like there are a variety of lists, but that's a different subject. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it's like the shit out of me, and I placed terribly. Everything was just out of position. I just couldn't maneuver, and I was very disappointed in myself with that. But the big turning point, all of his stuff, like his BSB, his general, like 2 chariots, his chimera, and even his skull crushers, all within 12 of my Grey Seer. And I'm like, I'm gonna 6 dice Cloud of Corruption and hopefully GG this guy. And instead, my Stormvermin fail a rerollable leadership 7 and break, and his chimera runs into my Grey Seer. And that's what we call the game, boys. So then he just ran down the line with warriors, and I was like, oh, my slaves, hold, slaves, hold.
See, and that's a perfect example of like what happens to slaves when they actually don't have leadership characters or any characters.
So that was the GT, and it was pretty cool. Anytime you come home with something, it's a good feeling. So.
Casual had the pleasure to play Mike Rossi round 4. He's a great guy. He had a rough tournament though.
Yeah, that poor guy. I'll buy him a drink. Crossroads.
Oh, I was corrected. It's Turbo Tomato. And congrats to you, Naren. Now retire this game for some Tomb Kings. That guy should do stand-up.
Oh!
That would be really, really painful to play Tomb. Yeah, like my buddy's like, no, do it with Beastmen, and I'm like, you're out of control, man. Like, I don't know if it's possible with Tomb Kings or Beastmen. Like, if Corey Reynolds can't do it, I can't do it. Like, that's for sure.
It's one of those things too. Like, there's playing down to a point, but if it's not your style of army, and then it's just not your style of army.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do after this whole The Boys thing, because then I'm gonna have till next Spring Crossroads, to play something. So,
well, Spring Crossroads. Should we try to do something Friday night? Like I don't know, a bunch of the Warhammer YouTuber guys do some games.
Probably.
Thoughts?
Probably, yeah. Let's do a big Triumph and Treachery game or something.
All right. So Anthony and whoever he goes, he brought like one or two, he had two guys go with him to Crossroads last time.
Or we could
Right.
all play in the doubles tournament.
Oh yeah, because you are the doubles tournament. Let's face it. I don't think there was one when you weren't there.
No, I don't know. I don't know if there was.
I didn't see it. I got up there later than normal, but nobody was playing by the time I got there. But we could try to get up there early.
I love doubles and Triumph and Treachery and fun games like that. Like that's the best stuff.
Right. So yeah, I wish I don't feel like waiting until spring though. When is it? March?
Yeah, something like that. Come to the boys in 3 weeks.
Is it sold out already?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
Come to
Where
the
is
boys
it?
in 3 weeks. You
Is
can
that
come before.
Connecticut?
No, that's in
Connecticut?
Rochester, New York.
What's the date?
14th, 15th, I think. 3 weeks from now.
Interesting. I don't know. I'll check it out.
Yeah, 14, 15, 16. I'll be there on the 14th. We're gonna play doubles and get wasted. We're gonna play doubles and we're gonna potty all weekend.
All right. There are no more comments. Is there anything else we want to throw out there, gentlemen?
I guess this is an open invite to you, Nick, as well. Thursday, I'm going to be starting up the Warhammer Weekly again with Naren and Tremendous as the co-hosts, and there's an open spot for you whenever you feel like coming back, if you feel
Awesome.
like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will try. Thursday's the night that I go play.
See, trying to fit it to everyone's schedule sucks. Like, I was trying to do a painting show with everyone on the PMP, and it's just like there's so many people from like Sweden and New Zealand. It's hard to match it.
I guess I want to say just thank you everyone who played with me at Slavania. It was great, and thank you all the people on YouTube who congratulate me and subscribe to my channel and all that. I hope that you enjoy the content that gets put out and you like my personality, and I hope that if you see me at a GT, we get to play sometime. Feel free to shoot me an email or whatever. I like to shoot the shit with people, so feel free to get a hold of me, and hopefully I'll see some of you guys there. If you see me at a GT, approach me, and we can drink Pinkie Pie's Party Punch sometime.
Hell yeah. All right, cool. Thanks, guys. Make sure you subscribe to Naren and Whoopie Womp and check out what's going on the Google Plus Warhammer YouTubers page, which is, by the way, jumped. I looked the other day, it's like 800. I was like, oh, this is great. Last time I checked, it was like 500. But there's that, and then there's the Painting Motivating Painters, the PMP. So check those things out, and we'll see you guys in the next one.